Well, here we are in day 3 of the March Mayhem Showdown Throwdowns, and let me tell you, it's not getting any easier as we move forward. Today we have 2 pairs of Titans facing off, hoping to find victory, but afraid that they might be splashed in the cold pool of chilling defeat.
It's quite a matchup today, Rob. We've got a lot of different food on tap. The first game, right off the bat, is a revised game, Brass Birmingham. Now, you know me, I'm a Wallace head. Martin Wallace's Brass, now called Brass Lancashire, is one of my favorites. But Brass Birmingham is like the sweet, sweet addition of a delicious paired wine to an already great steak. Gavin Brown and Matt Tolman said, hey, we like that brass game, but we can make it a little bit better. Let's add some beer. And that's what they did. Of course, the recent rise of the brass games has to be attributed, at least in some part, to the fantastic art of Lena Cosette, David Forrest, and Damian Mamoliti. Those games look so choice. You can't help but get them off of your shelf.
They are beautiful to look at, beautiful to play. Martin Wallace knows what he's doing, and he chose a team that's going to help him succeed. And so far, that game has been succeeding with the fans. Now, the question is, will it succeed in its showdown against Food Chain Magnate?
It's hard to say, Rob. This is a brutal matchup, just like Food Chain Magnate is a brutal game.
Oh, it is brutal to play, brutal to lose, and sometimes it's just brutal to look at.
Oh man, we couldn't have a bigger distinction in art styles. On one hand, you have Brass Birmingham, this beautiful, tightly drawn, lovely piece of art, something you wouldn't mind having sitting out on your shelf where people can see it. On the other hand, Food Chain Magnate, while it does have a kind of 50s aesthetic, some pieces of it look like they are prototypes. It's just not a good look.
But once again, here we are back to Concordia from yesterday. It's not all about the looks. You've got to take the gameplay into consideration, and boy, both of these games are going to keep you thinking, keep you working, keep you on the edge of your seat right until the end.
Absolutely. And, if the hardcore brass fans or old school Martin Wallace fans who really miss the vicious cutthroat nature of the earlier games, Food Chain Magnate is going to satisfy them. There's nothing better than watching your neighbor spend all their money making pizza popular and then undercutting them on the price of pie to really run them out of business. It's an exciting game, probably more brutal than my taste usually welcomes.
Well, I'm going to tell you that we're lucky that your taste isn't the deciding factor, because the deciding factor is the votes of our listening public,
true.
Who can vote on Twitter at
Game Fight Show. Go on there and look for our poll today, where you're going to find the options for both of today's mashups. The first of which is Brass Birmingham versus Food Chain Magnate.
Well, but the other one, get ready. It's Terra Mystica versus Root.
Root. Oh, this is an incredible matchup. I can't bear the thought of these two games going together. They're both so incredible. They both made a huge splash when they emerged. It's going to be a tough one to call.
How do you like moving around through nature?
Well, you know me, I love to hike. How do you like birds?
Tweet which game you want to win at Game Fight Show, my little birdies.
That's right. So Terra Mystica feels a bit older school in the Euro style, but it is a well-beloved game. You could pick between something like 10 or 12 factions. I don't recall exactly how many, but each one plays a little bit different. You have a board that can result in some really cutthroat play. You get to
no doubt
make buildings and change buildings into other kinds of buildings. It's a whole building thing.
Building your success.
That's right.
There can be no question that Drogmuller and Ostertag had some hot heat coming with them back all the way in 2012. But let me tell you, when Root landed, everyone took notice.
Yeah, they did.
That game came out at Gen Con, and people were ready for it. They were listening. The asymmetric gameplay, the asymmetric player powers, fighting in an adorable world, but the fighting itself, well, she's not so adorable, is she?
No, and I think that's one of the big challenges Root has. When you look at Root, it looks like it should be a family game. You got these cutesy little birds, you got this cutesy raccoon, but you open up the box and they are stabbing each other to death. There is blood everywhere.
Cognitive dissonance.
Cole Worley has really knocked it out of the park with this one, bringing what some people call coin games, a sort of specific war-style game, into the mass market, and teamed up with Kyle Farron. It's a really nice pairing, but I'm just not sure. Yeah, it's a little dissonant, like you said. And so, Terra Mystica is the whole package. It's hard to judge.
We don't have to judge. We don't have to judge because the good people will vote. You'll either vote for Terra Mystica or you'll vote for Root. You'll either vote for Brass Birmingham or you'll vote for Food Chain Magnate. And when you do, you will decide their fates as we move through the March Mayhem bracket toward ultimate victory.
Ultimate defeat.
Oh, that sound means that it's time to throw to Eleanor with the Mayhem results from yesterday's showdowns.
Thanks, Rob. I'm back with your scores. In yesterday's first bout, number 8 seed Star Wars Rebellion was crushed in a stunning upset by 25th seed Mage Knight, while 15th seed Castles of Burgundy handily withstood 18th seed Concordia's assault. Thanks, Rob and Brendan. Back to you.
Oh, thank you, Eleanor. That's another one that I just wouldn't have called. Well, that's it for us for today. Don't forget to go and vote at Gamefight Show. Brought to you by
Rattlebox Games.